Hello and welcome everyone again into another video. Today's video we will be talking about the top teams in the Galarian Cup or Pokemon Go Great League Galar Cup, which are basically the Pokemon that were discovered in Sword and Shield. It's not like Galarian Galar region only. No, there are some different Pokemons. Basically everything that was in the Pokemon Go Sword and Shield. So it's not going to be actually like Gen 8 only. No, there will be like some other Pokemons that will sneak in and make some appearance that they weren't expected to be. And if we take a look at PvPoke, number one Pokemon is Galarian Weezing Shadow. If you have a Galarian Weezing Shadow, you're going to have the best Pokemon in this cup. What if you don't have? Well, Shadow Coughing is now in the raid. It used to be within when we had Jesse and James, the balloons. But Jesse and James, they never come back. So it used to be like back in 2020. Yeah, you could get them. I myself had only one in the past, and today I had to drive the past 3 days around 200 kilometers driving around the city just to get, I think, 7 of them. It's like they are just spread out around the city. Like you can only get like one every an hour and a half. Just that's as hard. That's like how hard it is to get like to get a Kanto Coughing Shadow Raid. If you get one, you are eligible to. It will be eligible to evolve into Galarian Weezing until October 1st. What time? I am not sure. So if you have one, make sure you evolve one for Great League, one for Ultra League, and save some for a potential buff that maybe Weezing will eventually get. So number 1, Galarian Weezing. Number 2, Diggersby. 3, Mandibuzz. 4, Clefable. 5, Toxapex. Togetic is making an appearance. Why Togetic is good? For 2 reasons. It's a spammy fairy, it's a bulky fairy, and it has Fairy Wind if you want to beat the ground. It has Steel Wing, and it's a legacy move if you want to beat the fairy Pokemons. Weezing, the non-shadow, we have Gastrodon, Quagsire, Ninetale, Alolan, Shadow Drapion, and Shadow Dusknir. Now that are basically the top 13 Pokemon in the Go Battle League. So I divide them into my own categories. I have my own categories. I split them: good leads, good swabs. Okay, technically, safe swabs, and generals. Good leads are Pokemon that do have fast move pressure, and they are either bulky or like some Pokemon that can dish out lots of damage, maybe because they have like sky high attack damage, or they're just spammy Pokemon. An example about that, Mandibuzz. You could also argue that Mandibuzz is a safe swap because fairies are a thing in this cup, so I'm not going to put it in the safe swap. If you're using Mandibuzz in this cup, I do recommend running Air Slash. It will make the Drifblim matchup a bit worse, but it will make everything better because Weezing is just going to be everywhere. Shadow Dusknir is good. It got a huge buff it got 2 huge buffs this season. They buffed Shadow Punch and they buffed Astonish. Both of them are extremely good off moves, where like in the past they used to be horrible moves. Toxapex is technically could be a generalist because it's good everywhere, and some people will be like, oh, I can't safe swap. What do you mean by good everywhere? I can't safe swap it because it will get punished by the Mud Slappers. Well, technically, yes. If the people safe swapping it, that means because they are trying to bait out your Mud Slapper. So technically it can perform as a safe swap in the ABB format teams. Gallade is a good Pokemon here because it can out-spam a Weezing, and it wins CMP, but it's a bit scuffed because the Weezing is just a freak of a Pokemon, and they can easily tank a Leaf Blade because it's resisted. So Gallade should win the 0. I took a look at lots of Pokemons. Technically, Alolan Ninetale has a decent play because technically nothing here among all these stuff resists the ice damage. So if you want an ice Pokemon, we have 2 that are eligible. Number 1 is Obama Snow, and number 2 is a Alolan Ninetale. And now, what about Obama Snow? Well, Alolan Ninetale, I do believe, does everything better except that it's weak to poison. Well, Obama Snow is weak to poison, so that's literally the reason you run. If you want, that's the reason why Alolan Ninetale is better than Obama Snow. It's just slightly bulkier and it has more resistances than Obama Snow. Golurk is a good ground Pokemon, but technically the other 2 ground Pokemons are just absurdly OP. Like Gastrodon, just if you take a look here, it either destroys everything or lose hard. So it destroys everything except Mandibuzz and the Drifblim. Other than that, it's kind of tough to beat Gastrodon. Same goes for Diggersby. I mean, technically, Diggersby has more tricks, and because you could run it with either Fire Punch or Hyper Beam. If you are, by the way, Quick Attack Hyper Beam Diggersby does beat Mandibuzz if that's something that concerns you. And overall it's a good pick. It has Scorching Sand, which is a move that has a high chance to debuff the opponent's attack. So if you are desperate for a debuff for Pokemon, I do think that Diggersby is one of those amazing ones. Anything here we did not mention? Clefable has a Fairy Wind. Fairy Wind gets a huge buff now. It does more damage, so don't sleep on Clefable. It should be a good Pokemon. It should be something that will help you out throughout the battle because it has a decent bulk, it has a decent fast move pressure, it has a decent charge move pressure, it has technically the entire package. Good fast move pressure, good charge move pressure. While like something like Quag is technically a poor man's version of Gastrodon. Technically it's not a poor man per version, it's literally more expensive. But people have it because they invested in it like in the previous seasons. Gastrodon is technically more like of a fast move pressure of Quagsire. Quagsire is like more of like a charge move pressure, but like it has technically a slightly better moveset, where like you have Aqua Tail here, while here you have non-stab and nerfed Body Slam. And Drapion can always do a great job, whether it's in a good situation or in a bad situation. A crunch debuff can technically flip so many matchups. I do think that Togetic is a decent pick here. I think you can run Fairy Wind and Air Slash and Dazzling Gleam. You can also run Ancient Power if you want, so to have a spammier and a better matchup into Mandibuzz. Drifblim is an insanely good Pokemon as long as you can dodge the Mandibuzz, the Dark, and the normal type. Anything else should be a good matchup for Drifblim. It's better to have a Shadow, like something to mention here, because Drifblim is kind of like a fast move pressure Pokemon with good charge move, or with good charge moves, and does so much damage from the fast move. So if you have a Shadow one, it will slightly do better. It walls something like Gastrodon. You completely wall it. Like Gastrodon just simply has no play into a Drifblim. Galar Weezing, the Shadow one, is technically the best Pokemon in the entire cup. Now we talked about the Pokemons, let's just talk about the best teams that I built myself and prepared for you. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't. The best team I think will be Galar Weezing combined with Diggersby and Mandibuzz. In this cup, you don't run Snarl Mandibuzz, you run Air Slash Mandibuzz, okay? Run Air Slash Mandibuzz. Why? Because fairies do exist here. And you might sometimes face out a Pangoro. You could also face out a Galar Weezing, so it's better to have Air Slash. I know Air Slash is bad and does so slow, but I do think that Air Slash is just straight better. Air Slash though kind of make the Diggersby matchup slightly worse, especially if they run a Quick Attack and Hyper Beam in the one. This team technically weak to Togetic, but I don't think that Diggersby is weak to Togetic, because Diggersby now run a Quick Attack. You don't run Mudshot anymore. Mudshot is nerfed. Quick Attack is technically stab and does hit the flyers with a neutral damage, while Mudshot is just double resisted. This is the top 3 PV poke. What does that mean? Number 1 in the cup is Weezing, number 2 is Diggersby, number 3 is Mandibuzz. Combine them together and you will get this team. I do believe that the top 3 PV poke is supposed to be the strongest team in the entire cup. But what is the most balanced team? If I want to build a balanced team, you go to PvPoke, you click on building a team, you choose Galar Weezing because it's the best Pokemon. It will suggest Gastrodon as a second, because Gastrodon is technically the ground Pokemon that beats other ground, because you have Water Pulse and you have a better charge move, a better fast move cover, a better hard-hitting fast move, and you combine them as you need Mandibuzz to have a better coverage to the ground, as like this loses to ground, this is neutral to ground, this destroys the ground, this technically beat the fairy, this loses to the fairies, stuff like that. This team is very balanced. Every Pokemon just covered the other's weaknesses. You're still technically weak to Togetic, but Togetic is not the most oppressive Pokemon. But if they are running Steel Wing, you simply swap out. If they are running Fairy Wind, you can stay in the lead and try to bait or like play out the shield scenarios. Up to you how you prefer playing these matchups. The team is also kind of weak to Toxapex, but hey, we have a Toxapex answer here. We have Mandibuzz, which is neutral to Toxapex. Now, we talked about the balanced teams. Let's just talk about some ABB teams. And the best ABB team, I do believe it's Double Ground, okay? So what is the best combination with Double Ground? I do think that the best Pokemon you could pair with Double Ground is going to be either Weezing, okay? Either Weezing. So you don't, because, so you don't be, you aren't weak to Dark and Drifblim, because Weezing has Brutal Swing, or Toxapex, because Toxapex technically beats the Flyers, beats the Togitex. So it's up to you to which one you choose here, but I do believe that Double Ground is supposed to be the best team. I do think that leading Diggersby is kind of like a 5-hit call in this cup, and leading something like Drifblim in the lead is kind of risky, because if they have a Galar Weezing, they will just spam the heck out of you, because they will keep just spamming moves after moves after moves. And remember that Fairy Wind is a neutral here, so it will chip, okay? And eventually you will be in one Brutal Swing range. So that's why something like Galar Weezing is just too busted in this cup. The fast move will just put you in one Brutal Swing range, which is a charge move that Weezing gets in literally 4 seconds. That's how busted this Pokemon is. Now, okay, Yasser, what will you be running, okay? Well, what I will be running, I am not someone who prefer ABB teams. I like ABC teams, aka balanced teams, and I think I love, when I looked at the cup, I love Drifblim in this cup, because simply has play into everything. And to run Drifblim, you have to cover against the Dark, and the first Pokemon you need against Dark is none other than the biggest nightmare to Dark Pokemons, which is Galar Weezing. The second Pokemon here, we have Toxapex. Something like Galarian Shadow Drapion is a bit annoying with this team. I do understand that. The play is you shield and you have to catch the second move, and you make sure you debuff them to force them to swap out. The secret is catching a crunch here and here, but just make sure that they don't debuff you. How you make sure that? Well, you have to do it. If you want to risk it and use my team, you have to do it. Top balanced team, I do believe that if you don't want to run Galar Weezing, okay, for none, so this is the top balanced team if you don't have a Weezing, okay? That's how you're supposed to say. That's how it goes. So remember how this team is a bit weak to Drapion? Well, this team is technically doesn't care about Drapion. We have, yes, we're weak to Drapion in the lead. We destroyed Drapion with Gastrodon, and we have Air/Mandy, which is a neutral to Drapion. I do believe that it's not just a neutral, it destroys the Drapion. But something like Obama Snow is hard to deal with this team. But I do believe it's manageable, because Air Slash is super effective. Astonish does so much damage. But what is the ideal play? Well, the ideal play is you stay in and you shield and you shield. I think you use one shield here and you debuff them. Then you go to Obama Snow. You go to Mandibuzz after. I asked Lyle Jeff to provide me with a team. He said he already gave a team to someone which has a Drampa. But I'm not gonna take his suggestion, because his suggestion was already offered to someone else. So if he wants to give me a team, it must be a unique team to this channel, okay? I have the best viewers in the world, and those best viewers deserve the best efforts, okay? So, why is the Drampa good? Well, Drampa has Dragon Breath and Outrage and Fly. So, technically, Outrage is a bit expensive move, but it has Fly, which hit everything in this cup. I don't believe that there is anything that resists the Fly in this cup. I do believe that Togedemaru is a thing, but nobody runs that Pokemon, so technically, we are correct. This team is basically double weak to Weezing in the back, but you use Mandibuzz to bait out the Weezing, and then you have Toxapex to destroy it after. And then you just save 2 shield for the Drampa, and you just rely on doing so much damage from the Dragon Breath. But is Drampa the only dragon? No, you guys know that this season we're dedicated to spam one dragon, okay? We're spamming one dragon, and that dragon is a Dragapult. I think this is one of the teams that I will actually be running on the first day. So if you guys are interested in watching my stream, I will be streaming on YouTube right on the leagues rotation. So once the leagues rotate, you can click on my channel and you will see me live playing the battles with 5 unique teams. This will be one of them. Mandibuzz with with Dragapult and Diggersby or Gastrodon, because we kind of need another ground answer, because Diggersby kind of destroys this the Dragapult, so we need another Pokemon. All the shields will go to Dragapult. But can we run Double Dragon in this cup? I will actually try. I will actually try running Double Dragon. So Toxapex Double Dragon is something I am interested to run. The problem with this team is that one Gastrodon will just destroy everything about this team. One Diggersby will also destroy the entire team. So I might drop one of the dragons and run something like the Panda, Pangoro, and that is the concept about the other team, which is Pangoro. Why Pangoro? Well, I don't think Pangoro is that interesting, but the thing is, if people runs Diggersby, you need a Pokemon to stop Diggersby, and the only Pokemon that can completely stop Diggersby doesn't exist in this cup. But there is a Pokemon that can do it, which is Pangoro, but you have to invest shields. Remember that Pangoro has Karate Chop, Night Slash, and Close Combat. If you land a Close Combat, you can say bye-bye Diggersby, you no longer exist. And I wanted to feature Shadow Dusknoir in this cup, so I was trying like, what could be a good pair with Dusknoir? Well, we need a counter to the Dark, and there is no better Dark counter than Weezing and Pangoro. And that's pretty much it. I tried to keep it as nice, as fast, with as many unique teams as possible. Hopefully you guys enjoyed these teams, and hopefully you guys are enjoying the content on this channel. I appreciate every one of you who made it this far. So remember, if you like the content, make sure to leave a like. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. And I will see you all in the next video. In the meantime, enjoy the rest of your day, night, or whatever you're having. Thanks so much for watching. Peace.